Hi guys, this is Albuska, and welcome back to another video. First of all, I want to apologize. I haven't uploaded in a while. Pretty much, actually, well, the last video I uploaded was an update video, basically saying how I would upload more, and that was in the summer. Well, I lied, so I apologize for lying. Things just got really busy, and things are still really busy, and probably will continue to be busy, so I will try my best, fingers crossed, to upload as much content as I can. It probably won't be a lot, but I'll try to get some stuff in today. And well, this is probably going to be the only video I'll upload for today because this is some breaking news today. But I just want to apologize that I wasn't able to upload anything. I know I had an idea for talking about the Billboard Hot 100 number ones over the years, like from starting from the '60s and going on, talking about that and maybe other videos like top 10 songs videos. Those are the videos that I was doing prior to me abruptly stopping. I just haven't had time to record anything because, like I said, everything has been so busy. Not really anything bad happened. It was just, life just got in the way, basically. But I do have time to make this video. This is breaking news, great news, actually. This is a really, really great day for all Dream Theater fans. So I don't know if I don't think I've ever talked about Dream Theater on this channel that much, and they're one of my favorite bands ever. It's like if you go from the last 30 years, they're probably my favorite band of the last 30 years, give or take. They're definitely up there with Foo Fighters and Nirvana and Pearl Jam and Soundgarden. Like, even though I love all the grunge stuff from the early 90s, I really love the stuff that Dream Theater put out. And there's some breaking news that came out today about Dream Theater. So if you know Dream Theater, then you basically know the history of Dream Theater. So these guys started out, it was, Mike Portnoy on drums, John Petrucci on guitar, and John Myung at bass, and they all attended Berkeley in Boston, which was a college they went to. Shortly thereafter, while they were, it was originally the two Johns, they went to high school together, and they both went to Berkeley together, and Mike went to a different high school, but they met at Berkeley, and they just jammed a lot. They were practicing a lot of Rush, Iron Maiden, stuff like that. Music they were, heavily into, and Black Sabbath as well, just to name a few. And they would practice a lot. And, unlike your typical jazz or classical music that most musicians would study, not just in Berkeley, but in any music school, these guys were different. They really loved the heavy music, and they also really loved the progressive music. Mike Portnoy especially having an eclectic music taste. So the three of them knew they wanted to get somewhere. So for a while, they were primarily instrumental. They picked up Kevin Moore, who was a keyboard player and was friends with I believe he was friends with John Petrucci. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they got him in the band, and he was their keyboard player. And most of the time, it was a foursome. They played at concerts at Berkeley. They played in basements of hair salons, stuff like that. And they wanted to get somewhere, so they were friends with a singer named Chris Collins, who was their first singer at the time, and he sounded a lot like Jeff Tate from Queensryche. But it didn't really work out with between Chris and the rest of the band. It didn't really work out well, so he was let go, and they got an older singer named Charlie Dominici. Has a great voice. He definitely has, a very high-pitched voice. And they released their first album called When Dream and Day Unite. They were originally called Majesty, but there was another band called Majesty, so they had to change the name of the band to Dream Theater. And basically, they released their first album, When Dream and Day Unite. It didn't really sell well, and Charlie Dominici definitely definitely a unique voice, a great singer in his own right, but his voice, when you think about it, his voice really wasn't the best fit for Dream Theater. So they parted ways with Charlie, and for a few years, the rest of the band, they basically were writing songs instrumentally, and those songs would appear on Images and Words. So after years of trying to find a singer, they finally found a man from Canada by the name of James LaBrie. And when they heard him sing, they knew he was the right choice. And James LaBrie, I mean, he's been with the band since the early '90s, and his voice, I know a lot of people kind of make fun of his voice now. I mean, no one can sing like they used to, but James has a great frontman presence. And in my opinion, I think he still sings really good. He has great stage persona, I think he still has a great voice. And they released Images and Words as their biggest album to that point, and I think still to this day, it's still their biggest. That has Pull Me Under, which is their most popular song, and it's got Metropolis Part 1 and Learning to Live. So it's got a bunch of fan favorites and concert staples. And then they release their next album, Awake. This is kind of I didn't expect to talk about them so much. This is kind of the history of Dream Theater, if you will. They released their third album, Awake, which was in 1994 or 93, 94, around that time. But before the album was released, Kevin Moore decided he didn't want to do music anymore, so he didn't want to do Dream Theater anymore, so he left before the album was released. So that was another turning point in the band's career. They wanted to look for another keyboard player. So they asked, a bunch of keyboard players, one of which, named Jordan Rudess, they asked him, they knew how good of a piano player he was, and they asked him, and initially he said no. So we'll get back to Jordan Rudess. So they got Derek Sherinian on keyboards, and he toured a lot with a bunch of classic music. He toured with Alice Cooper. Who else did he tour with? I'm trying to remember who else he toured with. But anyway, Derek Sherinian is definitely an exceptional keyboard player. So that he's only on one album, one album called Falling into Infinity. They had the Change of Seasons EP, which was released before that. Derek was playing keyboards on that, and they do a tour with that, and they let Derek go, and they asked Jordan Rudess. There's an offshoot called Liquid Tension Experiment with John Petrucci, Mike Portnoy, Jordan Rudess, and Tony Levin on bass. So it's Dream Theater, but instrumental and without John Mayall, basically. And at that point, John and Mike asked Jordan, do you want to try out again? And this time he said yes. And this is the classic lineup of Dream Theater. You got John Petrucci, John Mayall, Mike Portnoy, James LaBrie, and Jordan Rudess. You got three guys from Berkeley and one guy from Juilliard, being Jordan Rudess. This guy was admitted into the Juilliard when he was 9 years old. Yeah, you heard me right. 9 years old. He was going to Juilliard. And then, I don't know, I'm probably going to phrase this wrong or say it wrong, but from what I understand, he was tired of, Jordan was tired of doing, classical music. So essentially he was bored. He was bored of, doing Juilliard, so he left and he wanted to do other things musically. He loved progressive music. So this lineup would go on to make the album that basically saved them from, I don't want to say failure, but because they weren't doing as much. They needed a manager at the time, and they wanted to make albums without any obstacles in their way. So they released this concept album called Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from a Memory, and this album, it's a masterpiece. Please listen to it if you haven't. And then basically they do have the string of phenomenal albums one after another. So you got Metropolis Part 2, 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, one of my favorites, Train of Thought, Octavarium, Systematic Chaos, and Black Clouds and Silver Linings. I mean, those albums right there are phenomenal. And then Mike Portnoy the drummer at the time, was asked by the band Avenged Sevenfold to play drums on their Nightmare album because, unfortunately for Avenged Sevenfold, their drummer, the original drummer for Avenged Sevenfold, named Jimmy the Rev Sullivan, unexpectedly passed away at the young age of 28. I guess his heart weighed double the average heart of a human being. So it was really sad when he passed away. So, and Jimmy, who's a huge Portnoy fan, Jimmy would be proud of Mike. Mike's playing on the Nightmare album, and that's another really good album too, and another really great band too. And this at the time had speculation that Mike Portnoy left Dream Theater because he played drums on Avenged Sevenfold, but he didn't leave Dream Theater at that time. I think it was until months later, it was late 2010, Mike Portnoy announced his departure from Dream Theater because I think he wanted like a short temporary hiatus from Dream Theater, and then they'd come back for a reunion. But because Mike, I guess, was feeling burnt out, but the rest of the guys wanted to continue on. Mike Portnoy wanted a little bit of a break, so they continued on without Mike, and this really divided the fan base in two because Mike was a huge integral part of this band, and a lot of the fans were really shocked and really sad when this happened. So the rest of the guys, Mike would go off and do 800 other bands, you know, between Winery Dogs, Neil Morse Band, Adrenaline Mob, Metal Allegiance, even Liquid Tension Experiment had an album 2 years ago for a little reunion. So Mike's doing a lot of stuff apart from Dream Theater, and Dream Theater holds drummer auditions. There's actually a great 3-part documentary on YouTube. I believe it's called The Spirit Carries On, which is the namesake from the song The Spirit Carries On from Scenes from a Memory. And they got, you know, how many, like 7, 8, 9 drummers, something like that. And Mike Mangini from Boston, professor at Berkeley, actually, he auditioned, and he got the part for Dream Theater drummer. And Mike Mangini is a phenomenal drummer. And so once he's in the band, some fans are still in Portnoy land, and they don't want anything to do with the present Dream Theater, so they don't listen to Dream Theater for 13 years until now, I guess. And they release 5 albums with Mike Mangini on drums. And I gotta say, the albums with Mike Mangini are really good. And Mike Mangini is a phenomenal drummer in his own right. I mean, if he taught at Berkeley, then he has to be really good. They released A Dramatic Turn of Events, which is a really good album. The self-titled album, that album was okay. They did a concept album called The Astonishing, which, man, that's one of my lesser favorite albums of them. I didn't really care for it that much. I respect them for doing another concept album. It worked with Metropolis, but it didn't really work so much, for me anyway, for The Astonishing. I mean, that album's 2 hours long and something like that. I can go off into another tangent, but we're not going to do that. And then they released 2 albums, which that's when I started listening to them. My mom introduced me to Dream Theater, so she was a huge Dream Theater fan when they started and stuff like that. And then I had heard Pull Me Under and Songs from Images and Words, stuff like that. But I haven't really divulged heavily into their music. Once Distance Over Time came out and I listened to the full album, I listened, I'm like, oh wow, this is really good. And A View from the Top of the World, which is their most recent album, I think was the best album with Mike Mangini on drums. And I was lucky enough to see Dream Theater on tour twice, on the Distance Over Time tour and the View from the Top of the World tour. So I got to see them on their last 2 album release tours. I got to see them do the entire Scenes from a Memory album live when that album turned 20 years old, so that was really cool. So I'm really glad I got to see Dream Theater with Mike Mangini in the band, because the reason why I'm making this video, I mentioned earlier, is because Dream Theater released breaking news. They have confirmed and announced that Mike Portnoy is back in Dream Theater, and this is his first time back in 13 years. And they're going to release their 16th studio album. It's probably going to be next year. They're going to be starting that, I think, soon, like around this time. And they're going to be releasing their next album probably sometime next year. This is going to be Mike's first album with Dream Theater in 15 years. So this is a great day for Dream Theater fans. And it says that they'll be coming back. And the one thing I'm really glad is that they're all on good terms. When Mike Portnoy left, there was, a little bit of tension, not a lot, but a little bit of tension between some of the band members once he left. But I'm glad that he got to patch things up with the guy. I mean, last year he posted pictures with the band, so I'm really glad that he got to patch things up with the whole band. And then obviously Dream Theater won a Grammy last year for The Alien, which is a great song. And the one thing that it's kind of a mixed feeling. I'm glad that Portnoy's back, but also at the same time, I'm sad to see Mike Mangini go because seeing him live was incredible. And it was kind of once Mike Portnoy patched things up with the band and took pictures with the band, you could kind of see a reunion. Like not they weren't going to establish one right off the bat, but you could tell that because he took pictures with the band, there would be a possible reunion. And some people were thinking that, I mean, for the past 13 years, people that haven't listened to Dream Theater because Mike Portnoy left, they're probably going to listen to Dream Theater again because Mike Portnoy is back in the band. I got to say, my jaw kind of dropped when I saw that because I was in English class today before English started. I was looking through, and my English teacher, who's kind of, he and I like a lot of music, and I told my English teacher, I showed my English teacher the article, and I said, I never thought I would see this, and he was like, oh, wow, that's crazy. And I'm glad that everything is on good terms, especially with Mangini, and I'm on the dreamtheater.net reading what everyone said, and Mike Mangini said, I understand Dream Theater's decision to get Mike Portnoy back at this time. As was said from day one, my place was not to fill all the roles that Mike held in the band. I was to play the drums in order to help the band carry on. My main role of keeping our live show working tightly on a nightly basis was an intense and rewarding experience. Thankfully, I got to experience playing with these iconic musicians, as well as some fun times laced with humor. I also really enjoyed spending lots of time with the crew, and there's the Grammy win, which was amazingly satisfying. To the fans, thank you so much for being amazing to me. I cherish the pictures I have of you all losing your minds and having fun. Finally, I really love the band, crew, and management and wish them and the entire organization all the best. So I'm really glad that everyone is on good terms, and everyone in the band had a statement. John Petrucci said, Mike Mangini's drumming is otherworldly, and I'm extremely grateful for the time he spent with us in Dream Theater. So it's great that they're all recognizing they're all recognizing how great of a drummer Mangini was and how they enjoyed him in the band. And then John Petrucci later says, I'm incredibly excited to welcome Mike Portnoy back into Dream Theater. My Young said, I wish nothing but the best for Mike Mangini for all the blood, sweat, and tears he put into DT during his 13-year tenure with the band. And he said, it's great to be back true to form with our original drummer, Mike Portnoy. And James Labrie said, having Mike Mangini with us all these years has been quite simply a terrific ride. He's one of the most amazing and naturally gifted drummers I have had the pleasure of working with. Thank you, Mike. And then he later said, having Mike Portnoy back in the band is exactly where we and things should be. Things have a way of going full circle. In this case, it makes perfect sense. And this is the classic lineup that they're the classic lineup that they had all those phenomenal albums from the late 90s and 2000s. And James says, I can say with absolute confidence that this will be the final incarnation of Dream Theater, with many chapters still to be written well into our future. Onward and upward, guys. Welcome back, MP. And then Jordan says, Mike Mangini is one of the most exceptional drummers on earth, and I feel privileged that we got to create a whole body of work with him. I will always be grateful for the time we shared in the Dream Theater universe. And then he says, we are so excited to reunite the core Dream Theater family. There is a resonance of spirit and vision that is unique and goes beyond words within our relationship with Mike Portnoy. So so everyone's welcoming him back. And then Mike Portnoy says, I am overwhelmed with joy to be returning home and reuniting with my brothers. There is so much shared history between us all, so many memories, so much music. To think we're coming up on 40 years since this journey began. The idea of creating new music together is so exciting, and I absolutely cannot wait to hit the road and get to play live for a whole new generation of fans that weren't able to see this lineup before. There's no place like home. So it's really great that that Mike is on good terms with the band, and B, that he's back in the band. Like I said, I'm going to miss Mike Mangini. I'm very thankful I got to see Mike Mangini live. But the next time Dream Theater tours will be with Mike Portnoy, I'm going to be on that tour, or I'm going to see them on that tour, I should say. I'm not going to be with the band. That'll be very cool, though. And yeah, this is just exciting news. It's great news. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Are you glad to see Mike Portnoy back? Are you sad that Mike Mangini has left? But yeah, this is it's cool. It's really cool news to see this. As a huge Dream Theater fan, it really makes me happy to see this lineup, because I started listening to them fully like a few years ago. I'll be honest. I started listening to them a few years ago, like right around the time Distance Over Time came out. That's when I really got hooked in. And it's really cool to see Mike Portnoy in this band as long as I'm living on this earth. So I hope to see Dream Theater on their next tour. That'd be really exciting. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Hope you guys are doing well out there, and hopefully I'll post more. You know what? Because this is good news for Dream Theater, I might do a top 10 songs for Dream Theater, because I love that band so much. And also, I'm trying to think that doing a top 10 Dream Theater would be really difficult because they have so many great songs. So we'll see. We'll see how this classic lineup lasts. Hopefully, and hopefully James is right, and hopefully this will be the last incarnation of Dream Theater. And hopefully I'll do a Dream Theater related video because I do love this band a lot. So that's all I have to say. Please leave a like, comment if you want. Watch my videos. I don't think I'm going to say view my videos anymore. That was kind of stupid, but that was something I did, 7 years ago, something like that. Wow, that's crazy. So yeah, please leave a like, comment if you want, watch my videos. Of course, subscribe and click the notification bell for daily notifications. Not that you would get many because I haven't been uploading in months, but I promise you, hopefully, I will be able to record as much content as I can for you guys. If you guys want me to talk music, you guys want me to talk movies, because I love movies as well, or, just random chat. I would like to do some live streams, see how that lasts. I don't know if I have the right equipment for that, and if I were to stream, it seems like people are streaming more on Twitch than they are on YouTube, although I guess that's not true. It's kind of a mix. Anyway, I will see what I can do as far as recording goes. So, thanks for watching this video, guys. If you're a Dream Theater fan, here's to you. This is a really exciting day, and I'm going to be listening to a lot of Dream Theater now. So yeah, that's all I have to say. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Once again, I hope I'll be recording more in the future. We'll just see. So thank you for watching this video, guys. This has been Halbuska, signing off. Stay safe. Take care.